Hello all, good evening. I am Niyat Patel and I will explain chain of responsibility design pattern in this video. So chain of responsibility design pattern is about a group of objects trying to solve some common problem. So if the first object is not able to solve the problem, it will pass on the request to the next object. So it will like create a chain of a different object trying to solve the problem. So here is a JavaScript implementation of a chain of responsibility design pattern. So at first we have handler function which will work as an interface. JavaScript does not provide inherent interface capabilities. So we will use prototype for that. So we have three handlers which will handle the request. So first handler have a set successor and handle request two methods. All the handle will have a same methods, but it will implement this interface set successor and handle request. So set successor will just set the next object which will serve the request, and handle request will actually serve the request. So in handle request we are just consoling request received by the handler, and if the request is of type that concrete handler 1 can handle, like request is equals to r1, then it will log handled by r1, else it will pass on to the next successor here, right? Same goes to concrete handler 2 and concrete handler 3. So here is my client function which will work as a main function. So we are creating three concrete handler here. We are creating the chain. So this is the power of a chain of responsibility design pattern. We can define the chain like order of execution of the request. So which object will try to solve the problem or the request first, and which will try to solve second, and so on. So here we are pass on the request, any request to the concrete handler 1, and if it cannot handle we will pass it to second. This can be done by here set successor of the concrete 1 is concrete handler 2, and for concrete handler 2 we will set successor concrete handler 3. So it will be like first the concrete handler will try to solve the request. If it cannot, then concrete handler 2 will try to solve the request. If it also cannot solve the request, then the concrete handler 3 will try to solve the request. So here is my main execution. I am first just consoling the request r1, and I am making the request here, then again making second request, making third request r3, and making some requests that cannot be handled by any of the three concrete handlers, right? So let's see the outcome. So here is my console. I am uh, executing the program node chain of responsibility.js, and let's see the output. So here it is, right? So requesting r1, request received by r1, handled by r1, and this request is closed now. Now we will request r2 here, right? So it will be received by r2 here. It will be handled by r2, right? Sorry, request first will be received by r1, then request will be received by r2, and then handled by r2. Then again we will requesting r3. It will first go to r1. It won't be able to solve the request, so it will pass on to the request r2. So request received by r2. The r2 will also be not able to solve the request. Then the request will be received by r3, and as it is for r3, it will be handled by r3. Now we are requesting a rx request which will not be able to handle by any of the handlers. So we the first will request will go to first r1, and then it will go to r2, and then it will go to r3, and none of the handlers will be able to solve the request, so it will be terminated as it is. Thank you for watching video.